2-3 months only into this journey, I booked tickets to India.
Yeah.
I'd never been to India, but I felt drawn to go there. But it was a travel booked for about a year ahead.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I ended up going to India, and I have to think dates. November 2019. Am I saying November 2009? We're 2022,
yeah.
yes. November 2009. Flew to Delhi, got on a train to Amritsar Sahib.
Yeah.
And that was the first stop, basically. And so, it being November, I arrived there just in time for Gurupurab, Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Gurupurab. And by this time, I was reading Japji Sahib in the morning, I was doing Simran, I was doing Mool Mantra Simran, I had a little bit more knowledge. I was wearing a kara, I wasn't wearing a turban. But I felt called to go to Amritsar Sahib. And so I arrived there with a friend. And ended up staying there for a week because it was also just at that time, 1984. It must have been end October, beginning of November.
Yeah.
That was the commemoration, basically, for everything shut down in that week, so we couldn't travel further.
Is that to do with the gem side, with the Delhi gem side? Isn't
Yes.
it? Yeah, to do that. November.
Exactly, yeah, it was a November date, so not the June dates, of course. But so we are suddenly there in the midst of a lot happening for an entire week. And when I had by this time not ever been in a Gurudwara Sahib. So Amritsar Sahib, Harmandir Sahib was the first Gurudwara Sahib I entered, and the first time I had darshan of Maharaj.
Good start.
It was a good start. But as I walked down the steps, going onto the Parikrama, and I put my head down, and I still, all of these years later,
hair started to stand around.
Yeah. I cannot explain what happened there, but the only explanation I can give, or the only way I can describe it, is like I melted into something. I cried, and I didn't stop crying for 2 days. I could not stop crying. It felt like I had come home, but I'd never met a Sikh. I'd only seen some yogis who were not Sikhs. I'd never seen anyone with a turban. And yet it felt like I'd come home. It was very overwhelming. It was very emotional. I didn't want to leave anymore. And so I was incredibly glad that there were no trains. We couldn't move for a week from there anyway. So Maharaj kept us there. And all I wanted to do was just be on the Parikrama. And there was a lot of distraction. Because 2009, not so many Westerners were coming, so everybody wanted a picture, and I felt I was constantly getting disturbed. Yet there was this feeling of, I need to figure out what this is. I have no idea what this is, but I need to figure it out. And so this was before the whole surrounding streets were redone, right? And so I had this. The words I've used to describe how it felt was, someone gave me something to drink and I didn't even know I was thirsty. Because up until that time, even though I had started doing Japji Sahib and Mool Mantra Simran and Waheguru Simran, I didn't believe in reincarnation. I was still uncomfortable with the whole God idea. And so a conversation about God was still not a comfortable one for me to have, because I'd gone so long, since 14 years old basically. And yet something there was so profound. And the friend I'd gone with was on this whole search, spiritual search, for his whole life, and never really found where he belonged. Was exploring Buddhism, was exploring Taoism. And when I had that moment of putting my head down and lifting it back up with tears flowing, he simply said, "You've come home. You weren't even searching, and you're just told this is where you belong." Like, that's so precious. To not have to go through the endless search.